Hello, Facebook. I had to wait for that. That was a delay. Welcome to Feeling Fab Friday. So every Friday I come on here live and give you free tips on how to balance your hormones and feel fabulous every day, not just Fridays. You can feel fabulous every day, but Friday is the day that I come and tell you how to do so. So today we've been, last couple weeks we've been going through the different sex hormones. So we've talked about estrogen and excess estrogen and too little estrogen, how that affects you. We've talked about progesterone and having too little of that and too much of that and how that affects you. And today we're going to talk about the sex hormone testosterone and basically androgens on the whole. So I won't get too much into the sciencey part of it, but there are all sorts of different androgens and metabolites and precursor hormones and whatnot. So I'll give you a little overview. DHEA, which is a precursor hormone, pre-hormone to testosterone, which is needed in the body. And we've got androstenedione, and we have DHT. So those are the main ones, and you can either have low amounts of this or high amounts of this, and they convert into testosterone, and they convert into all sorts of things that can either affect your body in a good way or a bad way. So when we have excess androgens, there's really two pathways. Your androgens are made for females are made in your ovaries and in your adrenals, and for men it's in your testes and your adrenals. So you can have a predisposition for a certain pathway. So there's two pathways. There's 5B reductase and 5A reductase. And 5A is the pathway that leads you to have symptoms of more potent symptoms of excess androgens. Okay, so I personally have the 5A reductase pathway. So that means I have a predisposition to have more issues with high androgens showing up as acne and PCOS type symptoms, hair loss, insulin resistance, aggressive behavior, facial hair growth. All those type of things can be symptomatic with someone who has more of a 5A pathway. And so the symptoms of somebody who has too much of these androgens, like I said, disposition for acne. It can also lead to more serious things like heart disease, stroke, mood issues, cancer, all these things. And for men, it can also cause issues, obviously, hair loss, but issues with their prostate. So it is something that we want to pay attention to. And like usual, I'm not just about, looking good, which is very important that you feel sexy and feel good. I'm also about how you show up in the world energetically and relationally. So testosterone comes into play with a lot of emotions, surprisingly, which have to do obviously with sex drive and your libido. And when a lot of women that come to me, they're struggling with this low sex drive and this low libido, and they think it's normal. And let me tell you, honey, your partner does not think it's normal. And there are ways to boost testosterone back up to make you feel sexy, okay? So this isn't just about wanting to have sex. This is actually feeling sexy, feeling confident. Testosterone really affects that. So some signs of some low testosterone and low androgens would be a low sex drive, kind of a crappy mood, self-confidence. It affects your ability to have self-confidence or not. So low self-confidence, the ability, to feel assertive, right? So if you have a low ability to show up well in social structures and a sense of well-being, that's a sign of low testosterone. Not feeling sexy, having hot flashes, not being able to develop muscle growth. So testosterone is responsible for, obviously think of like a really sexy man, right? He's got muscles, he is developed, he has a lot of body hair, more body hair than women do. But, just like anything, when it's unbalanced, it's not great. So for women, it can give us excess body hair everywhere, including our face, which as a woman, we want less hair, not more hair. And it causes you to lose your hair, which is like the place that you want hair. Isn't that so cruel? It's like, how come it makes you get hair everywhere else except for the place that you want it, and you can actually start to lose your hair? And alopecia is actually associated with high levels of DHT. So that's the hormone that causes the hair loss, is DHT, having high levels of that. So as you can see, this is important. This is important for your well-being, how you show up in the world, how you are in your relationships, etc. So women produce about 0.25 milligrams a day, and men can produce up to 10 times or 40 times more than that. And it also improves your immune function, which is sometimes why men get sick less than women, is because they have higher levels of testosterone. So yes, let's talk about insulin resistance. That is also a huge factor that comes into play when you have high androgens and too much of it, and that is obviously leading to all sorts of issues with blood sugar control and weight loss, and also about it affects sex hormone binding globulin, which sounds like a monster, but it's not. But it affects that, and what that does, it's a protein that binds to excess testosterone. It keeps it from getting out of trouble. And so when you have high levels of insulin resistance, you don't produce as much of that, which is an issue. So it can lead to blood sugar issues, like I said, weight gain. That also is like a spiral, right? Just like anything else, that we have more of that, it produces more testosterone running around in your body causing havoc. So there are some different causes for this. It could be genetics. Actually, someone taught me this trick the other day. You take your hand and you look at how high your ring finger is. That's an indication of how much testosterone versus estrogen that you have, that you were exposed to in the womb, which is very interesting. So genetics can be just a big factor. If you were exposed to a lot of testosterone in the womb, either your mother, had a predisposition for this, or even you can come from your father's genes. You can have a predisposition for excess androgens and high levels of testosterone. Chronic stress is another issue. So obviously it's produced in the adrenal glands. So when you're under stress, it's just pumping out more and more of it. And stress is a huge factor in that, and why people who have issues with their adrenals, issues with stress, can also start to see some of these symptoms come up in their body. And excess body fat is another way that you can have these symptoms. So what are the solutions? Now, I'm a big fan of getting to the root cause and not just throwing supplements at you, because when I throw supplements at you, they only work as well as you're absorbing them, right? So I will tell you some things today that you can take to help this, but I don't want you just running out and grabbing all these supplements, because again, everybody's individual. And the best way for me to know what you need is for you to get tested, which is something I provide through my coaching program. And I use one of the most prestigious tests available, which is the Dutch test, where we can see not only your levels of testosterone, but all these other metabolites and how your body is using them. And not just this hormone, but all the other hormones that I've talked about. So let's talk about some solutions. And surprisingly, the solutions for managing high androgens and low testosterone are pretty the same, which is the sign, another sign that hormonal balance is an overall lifestyle change. This isn't just taking a supplement. This is changing your life. And the first one is managing stress, which is why mindset is literally so important, because I can give you all sorts of things. And if you're not changing your core level of your nervous system and your mindset of where you're operating, you're not going to see this change be lasting, which is why mindset is a huge pillar that I offer in my program as well, to help you manage this. And we do literal energetic work to shift your levels of stress. So managing stress, obviously you need to learn how to breathe properly. You need to stop and find things you're grateful for. Take time to give self-care. Start to get rid of some of the things in your life that are taking up too much of your time, and start to manage those stress levels. We need to eat foods that are low on the GI index. So the more sugary, the more they're spiking your blood sugar levels, which I did a post on Instagram about yesterday, the more you're going to have these symptoms. So you want to eat foods that are low on the GI index. You can look that up and find out which foods are more beneficial for you. You want to eat no dairy, okay? Dairy increases your insulin response by almost 300%, which is crazy. And I know, I like dairy too. But it's just not beneficial for us, especially with people with high androgens. And a lot of high fats, too, are actually not beneficial for androgen folk. So, this is where I really just hate, like, when someone gives a blanket statement of everything that everyone should be doing. Avocado, putting avocado in everything for me is not going to help my disposition to high androgens. So you want to pay attention to, again, testing to figure out what you need, what foods you should be eating. Eating fiber. So this is one of my first recommendations. Psyllium husk powder. Make sure you get the powder, not the full psyllium husk. You don't want to cause too much havoc in your GI tract. But I'm a fan of fiber. It's really hard to get the right amount of fiber that you need from your diet. So by adding a supplement, this is an easy fix. It's very cheap for you to start getting some of those excess hormones out of your system. So that's an easy one. Doing gut work on the whole, right? This fiber isn't enough. We need to get to the root issue of what's going on there, why you're having issues excreting excess hormones and assimilating nutrients. So doing gut work and really doing repair and understanding what's going on in your gut, which is the key to all your health. Zinc. So this is something that can be very helpful. And by the way, men need zinc to make sure they have a high sperm count. So if you're having issues with getting pregnant, and some of it might be on your guy, he needs to be taking zinc to help him increase his sperm count. Okay, so that's a quick, easy tip. One way you want to find out if you even need zinc, because again, I don't want you just putting stuff in your body that you don't need, is to test for it. So this is something you can get on Amazon, liquid zinc assay. And you just take a tablespoon of it, you put it in your mouth, you're going to swish it around, you can swallow it, and you're going to do a test. If you can taste the metallic taste in your mouth, then you're good and you're not low. If it tastes like water, that's a very strong indicator you are low on zinc, which can affect stomach acid levels for digestion, can affect a lot of stuff. Again, men need high levels of zinc to produce healthy sperm. Women need zinc. It also helps with immune system function. So you want to check that out. If you do need to take it, zinc is something that you can take. So yoga is a great way for people who have excess androgens. We don't want to be doing high intensity interval training, which is why some people who just only do one form of exercise are not seeing the body change results that they want, because it's really not the form of exercise they should be doing, which is another pillar of my program where I help find out what you should be doing. On the opposite, if you have low testosterone, you should be lifting weights. You should be increasing those levels so that you can bump the testosterone in your body and start to see results. Lower your BPA levels. Okay, so women who have high androgens have high levels of BPA in their system. So plastics, you want to stay away from plastics, especially any sort of fat that you're using or consuming. It should not be in plastic. So if you have coconut oil in a plastic bottle, throw that shit away, because it's absorbing all the toxins in the BPA and the xenoestrogens from that plastic, and now you're putting it in your body. So try to stay away from plastics. Definitely don't microwave anything in plastics. Also, do not leave your water bottles out in the sun, because, again, anything that's heated is going to absorb those chemicals more. So a couple of other for low testosterone, you could increase your vitamin D levels, reduce your stress, zinc again. So it's very interesting that they coincide, which is just an indicator that your body, when balanced properly, will do what it needs to do. It's meant to function optimally, and we've put problems in the way with our lifestyle that keep it from doing that. So two other quick things. Chromium is great for managing blood sugar levels and issues with androgens. And I'm a fan of Plexus Slim. I've been using it for a couple of years now, and it has changed both my body, my weight, my skin. I love it. I sell it. If you want it, let me know. I will post a link. But Plexus Slim is great to manage those levels. But again, it's not the root of the problem. You need to do the gut work. You need to do the other things to get your levels proper. Inositol powder is also wonderful for people who struggle with this. And this is basically a form of B vitamins that can help you both with insulin resistance and managing your blood sugar levels. People with PCOS, it's also great for fatty liver. It's a wonderful supplement. It's also good for your brain and actually helping your serotonin levels. So I'm a fan of it. And spearmint tea. This is from Ladies Balance, and I love it. It's great. It helps with high androgens to reduce them, and high levels of testosterone in the body. So I'm a fan of it. Also tastes great, smells great, makes your breath nice. So get on that. Now, I will warn you on this company, Ladies Balance. I like their tea, but they have a couple of, so it's an androgen and DHT blocker, so it also helps with hair loss. So you want to get on this. They have some complexes on there that are like, these it's basically a blanket supplement for everybody that has a bunch of different stuff in it. And I'm not a fan of that because, again, some of that stuff you may not need. If you have high cortisol levels, you don't want to be taking certain things that are going to stimulate that. Or if you have issues with, you know, androgens and testosterone, you really don't want to take ashwagandha. Or if you have issues with maca powder, you know, maca powder's in a lot of those supplements, which can be great if you've got low testosterone, not so great if you have high testosterone. So again, this is where testing and getting specific is really important. So I invite you to reach out to me if you have any questions about how to get tested and find out what is going on in your body specifically, and pay attention to these things. So you do not have to live with a low libido and a terrible mood and low self-confidence and the inability to lose weight and manage your blood sugar levels and acne. It's miserable to feel that way. So I can help you feel at home in your body. I can help you feel fabulous, not just on Fridays, but every day of the week. And I invite you to take some time to reach out to me. I would love to book a call with you where we can talk about how I can help you. And thank you for joining me today. I hope this was helpful. Try to talk fast because my phone's about to die and I lost my charger, so I have to go find a new one. I'm going to go buy a new one, and I'm not just going to go look for it on the street. I already looked for mine on the street and it wasn't there. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining me again. If you're not a member of my free hormone info group, Calm, Confident, and Control, it is linked on my Sozo Wellness page on Facebook. So you on Instagram can type in @Sozo Wellness in Facebook and you can find it and request to be part of the group. I post free information there, and you can ask me any questions pertaining to hormonal health and emotional well-being, and I will do my best to answer you. So have a blessed day, and I will talk to you soon. See you next Friday. Bye.